It was a disastrous day for the Rural Fire Service. In the Blue Mountains, west of Sydney, Australia's largest ever recorded bushfire had been defying the efforts of firefighters for nearly 2 months.
The Gospers Mountain fire was a very nasty fire over a wide area with hundreds of kilometres of front.
On December 14, RFS crews lit a backburn along Mount Wilson Road in the Upper Blue Mountains. It quickly escaped their control.
Not good. It's cranking and it's really running at speed now.
I felt sick. I couldn't see a reason for that backburn at that time. When they work well, they can seal off the fire, stop it from coming any further. When they don't work, they can cause the fire to be bigger, hotter, and move closer towards houses.
The relative humidity dropped more than 15% from forecast, and the winds, I think, were around 10 k's stronger than forecast.
Hot, TP!
The next day, the fire caused by the backburn surrounded the Wallamai Cabins wilderness retreat. Tour guide Jochen Spencer caught the emergency on camera.
There was just flame erupting everywhere.
That's massive, man. I've never seen that before.
Fire tornadoes would start erupting, and the wind. The fire creates its own wind, and so the trees just started thrashing around.
Yeah, spot fires galore down here. We're talking about 60, 70 metre flame pipes.
The fire hit Mount Tomah and destroyed 20 buildings in the well-known apple-growing region of Bilpin before it reached a notorious point of no return.
It crossed Bell's Line of Road into the Gross Valley, which is everyone's nightmare.
In the Gross Valley, the fire was unstoppable, racing up cliffs and incinerating trees.
Unfortunately, things don't always go to plan, and we've seen how quickly things can change.
Days later, it hit Bilpin again. So it turned into a mammoth effort here for firefighters.
Oh yeah.
Ian Brown managed firefighting operations in the area for years with the National Parks and Wildlife Service. He's part of a team which has researched the backburn as part of a submission to the state's bushfire inquiry.
There were community people concerned, there were firefighters concerned. The conditions were very risky, but the threat wasn't there. The main fire, the Gospers Mountain fire, was still 16 kilometres north of Mount Wilson.
The new RFS Commissioner, Rob Rogers, is awaiting the final report of an internal investigation into the backburn.
We've accepted the fact that that fire got away and that was lit by a backburn that we authorised. So we haven't tried to hide from that. We've been very upfront with it. I believe, under what they knew at that time, I believe it was appropriate. But when you add those weather conditions in that are worse than forecast, then I don't know what we can do about that.
Days after the Mount Wilson backburn, crews fighting a bushfire south of Sydney lit another backburn that would prove disastrous. The RFS lit the backburn just west of the village of Balmoral on December 18 to try to contain another one that had escaped. It was news to the local RFS captain, firefighting veteran Brendan O'Connor.
We had not been informed of this backburn whatsoever. The conditions coming the next day, you would not do that. You're condemning a village to destruction. There was no way it could be held.
I mean, if he didn't know, then somewhere along the line, something's gone wrong. So I guess we need to understand why he wasn't communicated with.
The fire that started with the backburn swept through the town over 3 terrifying days.
Kick the fence down if you have to. Just get in their backyard.
The gates of hell were opened on us.
2 volunteer firefighters on their way to the fire were killed by a falling tree in a nearby town. The RFS radio system repeatedly failed, and the crews ran out of water until a fire and rescue team arrived.
We had 35 residents and probably 30-40 animals in our place of last resort, which is our fire station. They actually did all gather to pray. They all did believe that potentially they were going to die that day in this fire station.
By the end, 20 homes were destroyed by the fire, which started with the backburn.
My assessment of what was done, absolutely incompetence, negligence, a complete lack of understanding of what they were doing. They should know better.
There were more than 1,000 backburns during the fire season, and the vast majority of them were successful. But the damage caused by some is leading the state's bushfire inquiry to examine whether the policy is too risky for our increasingly extreme fire conditions.
We're looking at worse fire seasons as climate change progresses. So there's a need to reassess under what conditions and under what circumstances backburns are undertaken.
We have to look at them, but there's not too many other options. It's either we put in a backburn to stop these fires, or we'll just wait for them at properties and hope for the best. We need to understand if something didn't work, what didn't work, why it didn't work, and how do we do that better.
In the Blue Mountains, the fire, which was started by the Mount Wilson backburn, raged for more than 50 days, scorching hundreds of square kilometres of national park, including the precious Blue Gum Forest.
The lasting impact of the backburn on this area and the environment around here is huge. We don't want to be making the same mistakes over and over and over.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 730's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.